welcome back to the Matrix. You know, the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today, we got ourselves a banger daily market news and analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting that share, so other people can spam that like button. We're going to talk about the charts, the news, the analysis. And we're going to be setting the record straight for all the hoes out there today. So stay tuned today because it might be a spicy live stream because we're going to let these hoes know. Let a naysayer know. You know what I'm saying? As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at 70,392. We've had a nice bounce off of this huge key level here. We came all the way down on the weekly chart to basically touching the 200 weekly moving average. I do think we will probably eventually touch that. When we think back to the last bear market low, the same sort of thing happened with Luna and FTX. Luna went down here to 16,600 or something like that, I believe it was. And then a few days later, November 22nd, excuse me, we went down to 15,479. So it's pretty common to have a nice bounce and then have a test of your spring low. That's a pretty common thing to do. But I will say on the weekly chart, we got all the way down to the same levels that we have been at every single bear market low, below where we were with the 9/11 crash, below where we were on the FTX collapse, below the same level where we were on the Luna collapse, the same level where we were on the 2018 bear market low. So I feel very comfortable accumulating Bitcoin at these prices. I bought some at 63K. If we get back down and we test 60K again, I will be buying it. I have my eyes on March 3rd. And I will be, we'll see what happens March 3rd. That's the last lunar eclipse until the 2029 Shemitah year, which you guys know I've been talking about that forever. So we'll look at the liquidity heat maps. You can see most of the liquidity is still the upside. There is building some down here at about 67K, and then we can see a lot starting to be formed here at that 60K range. There's not really a lot in between there. You can see like how much more vibrant this is up top versus what it is at down bottom, but there is some at 60K. So again, building the thesis of getting a, how it would play out, if it were to play out, would be coming up to like the 80K range and then rolling back over and then getting the 60K. If we were to grab it, that's what it would look like, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to. It doesn't necessarily need that we meet Jesus, that we need to. This is the lowest. And one thing I would like to say too about Ethereum. Let's talk about Ethereum real quick. The one thing that's very interesting to me, Ethereum is on this critical level of support that's been at play since the 2022 bear market. And look, Bitcoin went lower over here. So Bitcoin is already and still presently lower than the April low. Ethereum is not. And not only is Ethereum not, it's finding violent support off of that range here. Violent. Like this is violency. Look at the volume coming in. That tells us that the move is real. And why am I pointing that out? Well, contrary to popular belief, Ethereum bottomed in June of 2022. It did not bottom in November of 2022. Bitcoin bottomed in November of 2022. Ethereum was at $80. That's insane, by the way. FTX, it was at $1,000, $1,072. So from the bottom of Luna to the FTX collapse, Ethereum was still up 26%. That's 2 years of stock market gains. That's what Ethereum was still up. So I point that out to say, Bitcoin went lower than the April low here. Ethereum did not. I find that very, very interesting. especially looking at the bottom. And look at how much we're up, 24.19%. Wowawunga. All right, let's talk about XRP, and then we're going to set the record straight. We're going to let a naysayer know. By the way, the Russell's looking good, 266, very close to putting in a new all-time high. Mamma mia! 2026 is not going to be what you think it is. On my mama. On my mama. All right, let's talk about XRP real quick, and then we're going to talk about the record, because people are telling stories and they're slandering my name based off of stories, but not based off of facts. So we will be pulling up receipts, and we will be taking accountability for some coins that I was wrong about. XRP. I bought XRP. I sold XRP publicly. I accumulated XRP at 30 cents publicly. I called the breakout a month before it happened. Publicly, video evidence documented. I sold 40% of XRP at $3.33. I wish I would have sold more. In hindsight, XRP was the second largest position in my entire portfolio. Bitcoin was the largest. I sold Bitcoin at 118,000. I wish I would have sold more. I gave that target of 118,000 at 20,000, and I gave it at 74,000. I wish I would have sold more of XRP, and I wish I would have sold more of Bitcoin. Those two equaled 70% of my portfolio. Check it out, y'all. I have to pay capital gains taxes. Do you know what that means? That means I profited in 2025. I profited in 2025. Because Bitcoin and XRP were the largest portions of my portfolio, and I took profit. I said I have no interest in buying back in XRP until we got back to $1.30. On this flash crash publicly on February 2nd before it happened, I said I will be buying. I have limit orders at $1.30, $1.11, and 88 cents. Two of those got filled. I have entered back into XRP, and we are slightly up. If we go to 88 cents, I'll be accumulating. That limit order will get filled. If not, if we get a dead cat bounce and then come back and sort of accumulate in here, then I'll just start to add to my portfolio again on XRP. I still have the same targets for that. But I like the volume. This is a higher buy volume than we had sell volume. We've had across the upside on the daily. What we need to do is reclaim this about $1.90 and hold it to confirm this is like a spring. This would be our selling climax, and this would be our spring. Look at that volume. Either way, we lost YouTube. Are we live on YouTube? Hold up. I think you're right. Okay. 1 second, guys. I appreciate you letting me know. I'm going to get this live again. Edit event.